This is not like a regular episode. This is more like me sharing a story with you that I want to share with you. It's not that it's like sad, but it's not a super happy or fun story. I just wanted to give you a forewarning. If you're expecting like a fun, jubilant vlog, just come back tomorrow. But if you want to hear this more kind of sentimental, I guess a little bit sad of a story, well then you're in the right place. But this does start out fun. It starts out being a fun episode. So here. Okay, so this was like a week ago. This is before Dan left for South Africa. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
See you later. Are you okay? I'm just leaving town and I thought maybe I should bring you something.
Is it donuts?
It's better.
Oh, dude.
Get well, Dan. I'll see you in a couple days.
As a Republican Yvette Herald, I've never let the title of state representative define me as a person.
So today is a road trip day. I've got a very, very long, like, what is it, 6 hour and 32 minute drive from New York City up to Vermont, where my grandmother's not funeral is. Instead of a funeral, she's having the whole family get together to celebrate her life, and there's gonna be like 30 or 40 of us there. So I'm sad, but I'm also very excited to see my family. What I'm not excited about is this drive. And it's kind of a bummer that Franny and Candace didn't come. I understand why they didn't want to sit in the car for 7 hours. It was smart. Candace is too pregnant, way too pregnant to be in the car. And then I didn't have anybody else to go with me. So today is a day of solidarity, focus, and sitting in my car, watching it drive me to Vermont. There it is. So now I've got about half an hour, 40 minutes to kill. The shopping mall. Actually, I'm buying a tie for the funeral. I neglected to bring one, so this is a fortuitous stop. Quick bite to eat. Now I think the car is probably close to charge. I'm back in the car, I'm getting it washed. I got a full tank of battery. I had a food, I'm good. I'm ready to drive. This is awesome. I'm ready to drive. There is one tiny little concern though. It is way, way further than I thought. I mean, not like a little bit further, like significantly, as in it's 9 o'clock at night. I've been driving with traffic for like 6 hours. I'm not even halfway there. Long story long, I got a long, long night of driving ahead of me. That was kind of all I shot of the whole weekend of getting there. See, I got to the hotel where my whole extended family was staying. I got there at like 1 in the morning. I saw my sister, we shared a room. And I decided at that moment that I wanted this trip to be just like purely about being present and being around my family. It felt especially relevant because we were there to sort of celebrate the life of my grandmother, but I didn't pick the camera up again until I left. That's my sister there. That's me and my sister. So the reason why I wanted to make this video, or just what I kind of wanted to share for posterity, was my takeaway from the whole funeral, from the whole family get together. See, we woke up the next morning and we went to the cemetery and the whole sad part, and then that night, this is the night of the funeral, we had this big like dinner get together in a room. It's sort of like a wedding reception is what it felt like. And after we all finished our lasagna, one after another, my aunts and my uncles and my cousins they all kind of started to stand up and tell stories about my grandmother. That's my grandmother, and that's my grandfather. That's my mom, and that's her mom, my grandmother. My grandmother, my Nana, kept a journal of every day of her life. And so many of the stories shared from my aunts and uncles were directly from that journal. They could go back to literally any day in her life and recall what happened. That's my grandmother, that's my uncle. I'm not sure which one am I. I'm not sure who that is. That's me again. My mom, her side of the family, my maternal side of the family, I have 8 aunts and uncles, or 7 aunts and uncles and 1 mom. So my mother is one of 8 kids. These are them. That's 7 of them anyways. I think that's my mom right there. That's my uncle, my aunt, my aunt, my aunt. I knew that they struggled. Like my mom always talked to us about how they had powdered milk when they were kids because they couldn't afford like regular milk that comes in a jug. They would buy powder and mix it with water, and that was the milk that they got. Then my aunt started reading off journal entries, and there was a couple that were short, and there was a couple that were like, I went to bed hungry tonight because the kids ate because we only had enough food for the kids. Or there was one that was something like, feeling terrible, I didn't have enough food for Lee, that was her husband, my grandfather. Maybe tomorrow will be different. There were a lot of those kinds of moments that just painted such a vivid portrait of what of what my grandmother's life was like raising 8 kids. And it's hard for me to imagine, because whatever, it was 50 years ago, 60 years ago. But it just, that night there with the family made it so real and so palpable. I don't know, it's weird. I felt more affected by my grandmother then in those moments than I did in my whole life of knowing her and physically being around her. My mom and my dad and my brother and cousins, and I don't know who that guy is. Cousin, and there's Nana right there. That's me with my cousins and my brothers. This is when I lived in a trailer park, see? I lived I think right there. And that's my grandmother, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's me. And that's my baby boy, Owen. He's big now, but that's Owen. And I got up to say something. I didn't have a fun anecdote from my grandmother's life, but when I stood up, I just wanted to thank her and acknowledge how special of a thing it was that the last thing she did on earth before she died was to set aside the money and the resources and everything to have the whole family come together. Like, this amazing trip was her doing. And what a special, special thing that was to have us remember her by. It was special.
Oh.
There we go, we got 10.
It's blinking, it's blinking, it's blinking. Actually, if you would just do a little follow-up right now. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo! Nana Betty! Casey, take one or we all done?
You want me to take one of this?
You take one of yours.
Hold on, Zelda.
Well, I made it back. Great trip. A really just amazing time with the family. The story covers it all.